YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and we're going to do a quick faction focus on the Ardiaei, since they're alphabetically the first in the newer factions that have come out. To be honest, the Ardiaei are kind of lacking as a faction, in my opinion, and especially with the pull-through exploits that are going on online right now. When I first saw pull-through, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It's actually become more and more common, and I'll show you, just real quick before we get started, I'll show you kind of a common theme that I'm seeing going on in Rome 2 right now. So the Romans are the most popular I've seen with this because they have high armored formation attack infantry, and what people will do is they'll bring like I don't know, you can get some Praetorians and some Avocati cohort because it's pretty cheap. Bring a bunch of these guys. You just plop a Legatus out there, and then get a couple of Praetorian Cav and a couple of Legionary Cav. So you'll see an army like this, and people might be like, "Yeah, well, this army would be really susceptible to skirmishers." It's not, because both of these cavalry units can just pull through any spears or any other cav you have, and what they'll do is they'll just close you in with their elite infantry. And so, yes, if you have a line of Thracian warriors, you might be able to take these guys down. But other than that, and even with a line of Thracian warriors, remember they cost 1,300 each. The Praetorian Guard cost that much, but the Avocati don't. And so what basically happens is you get outweighed by numbers, because Thracian warriors are the only possible unit you can bring to beat this down. But you can't bring enough of them because the Avocati cohort are cheaper, so people will bring this army right here pretty much, maybe some small variations of it, and they'll just pin you down with the infantry, pull through your supporting units and your cavalry, kill your skirmishers, and at that point you have no way to win, because your men will just get cut down by weight of elite units. So this is a very common theme. It's an annoying theme. I don't think that it's all that clever or creative. Obviously someone's done a good job of thinking it up in order to game the current state, or I guess I say game, it's going to be confusing. I guess take advantage of the current state of the game. A pull through in certain occasions doesn't bother me whenever, it doesn't look insane, but right now you can take heavy cav like this, and if you all don't believe me, go check out Prussian Prince's channel. He just put up a great video. I'll try and link to it. He pulls straight through 3 hoplite wall lines, and his cavalry unit's still alive at the end of it. So you can't protect your skirmishers, and this is a relevant discussion when discussing the Ardiaei. So unless you're going to play against an opponent who is going to play in a somewhat friendly manner and not just pull through your units, the Ardiaei are going to have a very hard time winning a battle, and it's because their infantry was never intended to be their killing power. They were meant to use skirmishers, but the problem is they don't even really have very good skirmishers, and their cavalry is terrible. So the Ardiaei have a real struggle on their hands. Now they do have this unit here, which can get into the flank of units, and their hoplites are good. These Illyrian noble hoplites are a really good unit. They have expert charge defense and encourage aura. I mean, they're a good unit, and even these slightly cheaper Illyrian Hoplites have expert charge defense, which makes them, again, a pretty cost-effective unit. Their cheaper spears down here, they're Illyrian Thurio spears. These guys are pretty good at getting rid of cav because they have cavalry counter tactics. But again, these guys just are going to suffer at the hands of most factions because they just don't have any infantry killing power, and it's a real problem for them. So let's go ahead and just walk through your units. And as far as melee infantry, they have Illyrian levies. These are the same as what we saw with Epirus. Mercenary Gallic warriors we've seen with Carthage and other factions. Illyrian Raiders are one of their new elite units. These guys are pretty good if you can get them into a flank. They have to use the whip ability, guerrilla deployment, and stalk, so they can be deployed anywhere. But beware. Well, let me point out a few things about this unit. When it comes to a guerrilla unit, it does have melee defense, and it does have a little bit of armor, which is very strange because most of these guerrilla units have high charge and no defense and low armor. These guys have a lower charge, but they have the defense and the armor. It's kind of an interesting deal, and they're going to have armor-piercing damage pretty high because they wield axes. Your main line could probably be made up of these axe warriors. They're going to do better than a lot of units, and then I've seen a lot of people supporting with spears at that point. Now, the Illyrian Hoplites, if you're going to go against a faction that doesn't have really good sword infantry, it's possible that these guys could be a useful main line. Let's walk through their spears. Illyrian Spearmen, cheap. Their only real benefit is that they have cavalry counter tactics, otherwise don't expect much from them. I think these, like I said, these Illyrian Thurio spears are a pretty solid anti-cav unit because of this cavalry counter tactic ability. Discipline, interesting. Illyrian Marines, which is a curious unit. They've got really high attack for a spear unit, and a good bonus versus large, and good armor. Not very good health, but good base morale as well. They have rapid advance rather than cavalry counter tactics, which is unfortunate. If these guys had cavalry counter tactics, I think this would be a very good unit. And then you have Illyrian Hoplites, which they don't even have Hoplite wall, but they do have expert charge defense. Rapid advance I don't see a whole lot of good use for in the battlefield. Let's see. Mercenary Hoplites, nothing different about those. And then the Noble Hoplites, pretty good attack and weapon damage for a Hoplite unit. Even decent charge bonus, really good armor. This is one of the reasons why these guys do so well. And then really good base morale as well. And for the price, these guys are a real bargain, to be honest. Now, in their skirmishing department, what they have is weak, but it's effective. Like, so these slave javelin men are super weak, but they have good missile damage, and they're really, really cheap. So you can bring a ton of them. But again, the problem is you're going to have an extraordinarily hard time defending them, because people can pull through your spear units, and your cavalry is not going to be able to do much to stop them, because Illyrian cavalry is terrible, and it's the only offering that the Ardiaei have. So let's go try and use these guys in a battle. I'll do a live one, if at all possible. Last time I tried to get into quick match, it didn't exactly work out, but I think I should be able to this time. What's funny is that I'm in the USA, but I seem to have an easier time getting matched against people whenever I play during hours in which people in Europe are online. So this is pretty much suicide of me to bring the Ardiaei, but whatever. And let's start picking an army. The map is Alexandria, which is going to have light forest. So he's picked Athens, which is lucky for me. Otherwise, there'd certainly be no chance. Well, now he's switching around. Now he's looking at Getae, which would be a pretty tough matchup for me. I really wish he would have gone with Athens. But yeah, he's gone with the Getae, which will be fun because it'll be, you know, new factions against each other. I'm going to need some Illyrian Thurio spears. I'm going to bring quite a few of them to assist in a cavalry fight. And I'm going to go with, let's see, he's got better skirmishers all around. This is going to be tricky. I'm considering whether or not I should go infantry heavy and skip out on the skirmishers because they're so hard to protect. But then again, I'm worried if he brings horse archers that I'm going to need some slingers. I'm going to bring a couple of sling units to deal with any horse archers. And I am going to bring some Illyrian Cav. I think I would actually be well off to upgrade it because its stats are so bad. I got to put a silver chevron on it just to get 40-something defense. Let's put 2 silver chevrons. Stuff's still not very good. But at least it gives it some help in the attack, defense, and morale department, and it doesn't cost all that much. So yeah, that'll give my guys a little more oomph. We need some more infantry to round things out. I've got a ton of money left. Personally, I'm almost thinking about throwing in some of these heavier hoplite units, and maybe these guys can hold the main line while my axe warriors work their way around the flank. So we'll go spear heavy all in. This is going to be interesting. Not sure if it's possible for me to really win, and I'm not even sure if I'm picking a good army, just doing my best. So my opponent's ready. Let's get things started. Oh, my cavalry are going to be so weak. I'm going to have to make sure and keep my spears very close to my cavalry. I'm going to use my Illyrian Thurio spears to directly support, and then if he brings horse archers, my slave slingers are my only defense. They're not very good, but they do outrange the horse archers. And horse archers don't have heavy armor, so it's not something I would be worried about slave slingers being able to kill, because that's all they're going to be good against is low armor units with no shield, which doesn't account for a whole lot of units in the game. But again, slingers are really kind of the hard counter to horse archers. They're the best way to go, in my opinion, as far as dealing with them. Unfortunately, in this last patch, we were not able to see the bug fixed where you can see your enemy's deployment, which is kind of frustrating. Hopefully, that'll be gone soon. I know some people have brought up the pull-through item as needing to be fixed, so I'm hoping also that we'll see that get dealt with in an upcoming patch. because I know that it was posted on the forum, apparently by Hannibal Barcus. So, let's see. Get all my Thurio spears. Let's get a couple of them on this flank. Let's actually put them in front of my axemen so they can screen off cavalry. And then I'll just put a couple of my Illyrian cav on each flank too. I'm going to move as one kind of defensive group here. I'll break it up if I need to. Oh, I'm missing one spearman. I'll put him in the back just for extra potential support.
Illyrian cavalry! Deadly missiles ready!
Okay. I do believe I'm going to sneeze. Hold on just a second. Allergy's still not leaving me alone. Actually, I think I'm going to be able to get away with it. That's impressive. Alright. I'm going to move up my my Ardiaei force. Let's see what we've got. Just saw some units pop up here. A couple of Falksmen, noble swords, and a noble horseman. I'll go ahead and start moving to kind of face my opponent. Some of my units will remain hidden, others are going to come out. This is a cool map. I love the Alexandria map. It's actually one of my favorites. You can see Alexandria out in the background. And I like the fact that it's kind of got a mix of forest and open ground. There's not a lot of terrain on it, but I think it's made interesting by the fact that it's got, you know, runs of forest where you can do potential ambush, get a little bit of cover from skirmish fire, but also some open ground. So he's got armored spearmen, which actually bodes well for me because I think my Illyrian Hoplites can take those guys. Dacian bowmen, I'm not really scared of. So I think from what I've seen so far, I'm feeling okay about my chances because my mercenary axe warriors will do all right. Those Falksmen shouldn't last long. I am worried about his noble swords. Those are going to be some very tough units. And his cavalry is some concern to me. I'm going to have to make sure and support my own. Let's take a look at some of my units up close. They are moving through cover, but Illyrian Noble Hoplites, very cool looking unit.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden
we got
units.
enemy cav on our flank here. Spear horseman, no major threat. Let's see, here's my mercenary axe warriors, another cool looking unit. Spear horseman, nothing special there. And let's check out this spearman I have in the back, Illyrian Hoplites. Yeah, I like their hoplites and their shields. They look cool. Okay, my opponent appears lined up and wants to fight in this vicinity. I'm not overly concerned about his bowmen. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and move up a little bit, present my army. I honestly think a head-on fight would go okay for me at the moment, which again is a rare occurrence for the Ardiaei, so this is not going to be your typical scenario. But we'll see. When your guys come unhidden, that's kind of weird. They hesitate for a second. Let's see, 38 to 26, 65 melee defense, 65 armor, 53 melee defense, 105 armor, 55 health.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden
I
units.
think, like I said, I think a head-on fight would be okay for me. And I can see the enemy's cav in the woods over there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all my hoplites into a single line. And I'm going to put them in formation. Move up my slingers just a bit. I intend to peel off my Thurio spears. My opponent has more Falx troops on the flank than I originally knew about. I'm going to let my skirmishers start working on his bowmen. And then what I want to do is just go ahead and run a charge. I'm going to hard group these guys and click on the center of his infantry line. And then support with my axes on the flank. This is going to be a tough fight still, though. Scream with my spears.
Discovered the enemy's hidden units.
And let's see if we can get my cav through the screen. Because I'm not really worried about my back lines at the moment. My slingers are not a key point in my plan. See, and right now it's just a screening maneuver. Got to stop my cav charges here.
Our general is under attack.
So my screening maneuver was successful on this flank. And it's going to get me a clean charge into those noble swords. Over here, not such a clean charge. Let's take a rear charge or two here. It's not going to be massively effective, I don't think. Okay, he's taken some cav into my spears, which is going to be a fortunate occurrence for me. I'm having some success in the main lines, and I've got his troops outflanked over here. I'm going to have to bring my Illyrian cav around his flank. And right now his noble swords are getting kind of bogged down.
The men are wavering.
I'm going to try and bring some cav support in over here. Time for me to boost my men a little with my general. My axe warriors are doing pretty respectably here. Yeah, see, he's pulled through my spears and gone for my slingers. No big deal here, because my slingers don't matter, but this is that pull through. You can see that even during that fight, his even light spearmen have done very well against my own, or his light horsemen have done very well. But I should still be able to be alright. I've got a little bit of a blob going on over here. Let's see if we can finish off his main infantry line. See, he's just continuing to run away with his cav. Okay, that definitely hurt the morale of some of his armored spearmen. And my axemen are starting to give way against his noble swords over here, but I think they did a pretty respectable job.
Our men flee the field of battle. This is a shameful display.
I'm going to go ahead and kill those bowmen so they don't become a late game issue. There's still a lot of fight to be finished here. I'm going to let him have my slingers. I'm not really concerned about them. I got some axe warriors free now, which is good. More spears, which is good.
Our men flee the field of battle.
I'm going to go ahead and get these cavalrymen out of here. There's more noble swords coming in on my flank. It's time to get my axe warriors around. And I want to keep my cavalry alive, even though they're weak. Bring in my axe warriors from behind. So you can see the Illyrian Hoplites and the noble spears are going to be in a very long face-off. Okay, I'm going to try and pin his cavalry in against my men. He got a really nice rear charge there, hurt my morale. My axe warriors finished off over there, and he keeps having to use a spearman. Yeah, and see, he's going to pull through his own men to get away from my spears. Just going to leave my spears back here. His cavalry are starting to falter, though. The pull-through does hurt them, and there's only so many times you can do it. My general is slowly starting to waver, too. I can probably finish off his cav here, and we'll just keep working our way around his flank. I'm going to get my axe warriors clean around his line and then keep pulling up these hoplites. His men didn't have a very good time against my Illyrian noble hoplites. And my axe warriors have really paid off on the flank. I need to get them over here against his noble swords. I want to keep my general alive. I'm going to see if I can get him out of the fight, like disengage him. And I'll replace him in that fight right here. Okay, now his noble swords are the only thing left, and they're going to rout as well. So surprisingly, actually a victory for the Ardiaei. Might have to keep the replay to prove that. That's not going to happen very often. In this particular fight, I think the Getae player brought the wrong army, and that's really the only reason why I won. And again, don't get me wrong, Illyrian noble hoplites are definitely a strong unit for the price, but they can't stand up to swordsmen forever. And that's typically where they're going to fail. I think the upgrades in my cavalry were well worth it because I needed them to stay alive. My slingers did a good job of getting rid of his bowmen. Again, any unit that's got no armor and a shield, or no shield, even cheap slingers will deal with them, and that includes horse archers and cheap bowmen. Otherwise, don't bring these slingers. They're not going to be worth anything. In this case, I knew that I was potentially going to face horse archers, so I brought them for a very specific purpose. So keep that in mind. So 2 of my axe warriors not doing well, 2 of them doing quite well. Illyrian Thurio spears here doing well. Let's see, Illyrian Noble Hoplites, all of them did well. Even my Illyrian Hoplites did well. And that's kind of to be expected against the Armored Spearmen because my men had a higher attack value. Armored Spearmen had a better defense value. But in the end, my guys did well there. So kind of an interesting matchup. His 2 Noble Horsemen getting quite a few kills, probably from just different units. Tough units for me to kill. I mean, his cavalry did all right. His infantry just was outmatched. One of his Falxmen got a few kills, but these guys are pretty weak. I would only use them for 2 things. One would be to soak up a charge for better infantry, because they will get a few kills on the charge. The other would be I would run them on the flank and do exactly what I did. One thing that and let me go back and just show this real quick since I have the replay. I won't show you the whole battle, but I want to show you this because I did it here and it worked fairly well. It's not something that's going to work every time, but it's something that I want you all to be aware of. It's a screening maneuver. And in certain scenarios, it can be very handy. So in this particular case, I wasn't really worried about cavalry getting into my back lines. I guess I probably should have been because his cavalry could have been quite devastating in early rear charges. But since I had Noble Hoplites, I wasn't as concerned about them getting immediately destroyed by a rear charge. And I'll just want to show you what I did here again with the screening maneuver. And what the screening maneuver did was it allowed my cavalry on at least one side of the battle to get behind his lines instantly. And it's basically, I used to use it in Rome 1 every now and then, and they would, because in Rome 1, of course, instant hammer and anvil strikes could sometimes decide the battle. And it can in Rome 2 sometimes as well. It's a calculated risk. I should have left at least one spearman in the backfield probably if I was going to do this, but it ended up working out all right in this particular case. Okay, so what you're going to see here is I'm going to send these spearmen, and I'm going to send them forward like this. And basically it creates a screen right here that his cavalry can't get through, and then my own cavalry are going to punch through and get behind his men. So hopefully you all can see my little drawing there and you'll understand how that's going to work. So I'll let you watch it. It doesn't work on this flank because my opponent fills in the gap, but it does work sometimes. And when it does work, it can be very, very effective. Yeah, look at my slingers wasting on these bowmen. My slingers are just going to be better there. So what it does is, and in this case it's a 2-part screen. 1, I know his cavalry's out here in these woods. And then 2, my axemen are going to pin down his flank support. So see right here, perfect. Screens right here, he can't get through. My horsemen slide right on through. What would I do if he would have pulled back this way? If he would have pulled back that way, I would have gone ahead and just moved my spears in there as well, and then brought my cavalry out and around. So it leaves you a couple of options. But see right here, early game, my cavalry are behind his lines, and he loses the charge with this noble sword, which is going to cost him some pretty severe casualties that otherwise he wouldn't have taken. And see, this pulls his cavalry off of these, both of these noble cav now forced to come intercept, which then allows this flank to go in my favor. Look at this great early rear charges I'm going to get here. And then again, this ties up his noble horsemen to where they're not going to be doing anything better than killing my Illyrian cav, which is a pretty weak unit. So I think overall that was a good demonstration of a screen. Here I used one other thing that I want to let you know. You can see here that I've got a waypointed move order. Some of you don't know how to use that. You can hold the shift button while you're clicking orders and your guys will waypoint. If you're busy trying to micromanage somewhere else, it's a good way to get your forces behind someone else. So I'll let you all see this again. It is kind of slow because your men have to completely hit their position before they follow the waypoint, but again, when your micromanagement's needed elsewhere, it's a good way to go. So you see my horsemen continue to move behind the line while I can micromanage elsewhere. Let's just take a look at the main line fight real quick. Spear unit on spear unit is going to be a long fight. It's way faster than with sword on sword or sword on spear, because these guys' attack is just not as high. I actually think it's the bonus versus infantry that makes the other units kill each other faster. But yeah, this is a clash of heavily armored titans here. Here comes a rear charge. A fairly light cav unit, but getting a solid rear charge there. It's going to be fairly devastating, even just from the morale impact. Plus it knocks over enemy units, which I think makes them vulnerable. But in any case, that's pretty much it here. I don't want to show you the whole replay. Wasn't the point. But I just wanted to show you that screening maneuver. It's an important tactic that can be used. I say important. It's a useful tactic whenever you find the right time for it. Again, don't recommend it unless you have a way to guard your backline, or like in my case here, I'm not really worried about an immediate rear charge. But you can see that it caused havoc behind enemy lines early on, and basically that gave me an advantage in the sense that my opponent had to react behind his own lines, which made his attention behind my lines less likely. It can be tricky to pull off against an opponent with good micromanagement, but it's something that you can use because it'll force enemy cavalry to avoid your spears, and sometimes it can create a hole for your own. And again, if my opponent would have moved his own cavalry back to fill that hole, that's fine. I can just turn my spearmen to go face him again, and then work my cavalry back out around the flank. One way or the other, I think it helps you get into an advantageous position. Heir of Carthage, signing off for now.